Peace and blessings, family. Happy rising to you. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their weekend. And on today's topic of discussion, we're going to talk about what are you focusing on the most? Wherever your focus is pretty much what you focus on the most. What is most important to you? Know we got to have our jam session going on in the AM. Yes, sir. Let the OJs serenade us this morning. What's important to you? See, money is the answer to things. But see, money can't solve your internal problem. Even some people think that what's going to help them get away from racism is money. However, if that be the case, then why did LeBron James' home still get sprayed with a racial slur? So obviously, money doesn't equate to morality. Money just puts you in a good place of financial stability, but it does not solve your internal problems. And so today, that's what we really want to focus on. We want to focus on what's important, what's eternal. Your soul is going to outlast everything that you see. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on your soul's elevation? Because this life is like a vapor of smoke. We're here one moment and we're gone the next. What about making sure that we have, a solid spiritual life? Because wherever your mind is at, whatever state your soul is in, that's where you're going to go in the afterlife. I want to talk to you about what's important on today. There's nothing wrong with having balance. We're not talking about not focusing on the life here and not focusing on the life hereafter, or we're not just talking about not focusing on the life hereafter, but just focusing on the life here. We want to have a balance today. So we're going to talk about balance. Like to say happy rising to Mariz Molina. Like to say happy rising to Stephanie Green Bolden. Thank you all for tuning in on this morning's program, this Food for Thought program. Thank you so much for taking out the time to listen on this morning. I tell you, man, we're focusing on this issue because, we see it tearing up, unfortunately, the very fabric of this country as well. The lust, man, the lust, lust for financial gain. Unfortunately, some people will sell their soul for them to gain financial stability. Unfortunately, you see it within the music industry You see it within the government. You see what's going on within this world today, that love of money, that greedy spirit, it'll even tear up a family. Some people chase money so much they barely even spend time with their wife or with their husband or with their child or with their children. Just lusting after materialistic things. Life does not consist in the abundance of things that one has. There are things that are more important than things that are tangible that you see with your eye. It's life. It's more than meets the eye. In other words, you got to focus on, your inner self too as well. So many people, they're so focused on getting things that's tangible, but they forget about, the internal things. They focus so much on the external things, they forget about the internal things. And they spend so much time consuming themselves with trying to get things in this life to where they don't focus on the afterlife. They don't focus on their spirit being. They're just totally consumed with this world. And so you find people piercing themselves through with many sorrows because they're just constantly chasing money. They're wearing themselves out because people saying, oh, you have to get rich, in order for you to be exempt from the persecution of, those who are prejudiced. And, you're just hearing this constantly on the news. Every time you turn around, you need to have, economic stability. I don't disagree with having economic stability. However, when that is your main focus and that's all that you focus on, not just financial, okay, not just monies. I'm talking about, having a mansion or having a high dollar vehicle or having lavish clothing, having a shoe store in your closet, just covering yourself up in diamonds and gold and, just chasing after the so-called, quote unquote, the good life. But what profit if a man to gain the whole world? I totally agree with that verse, and lose their soul. So many people, they're focused on this life and they never focus on the life hereafter. They never focus on what's going to happen to me. And I understand because, if you're around a lot of people that's all they focus on and nobody really ever brings to your attention that there's more to life than things, then of course that's what you're going to be consumed with. You're going to be consumed. You're going to wear yourself out with chasing things. Like, for instance, December is around the corner and people go in debt because they're chasing after things. They're working all these long hours to buy Christmas presents and, they're spending their time trying to accumulate, all these things that really are going to perish right before your very eyes. These things don't last forever. But people wear themselves out with that. They're so caught up in trying to live that good life, and some people sell their souls for that. Unfortunately, you hear a lot of lyrical content within the gangster rap world, and they're just more concerned about getting a dollar than actually using their gifting to help change their community. They take their minister society lifestyle and then they take it into the studios, and now they mass produce this chaotic, immoral bomb that's explosive and begins to destroy the very fiber of the community with these corrupt lyrics. And they don't want to take responsibility for what they say. Then you have those who are in position, who are politicians, who that's all they're concerned about is a dollar. They're not concerned about, the people that suffer when they pass these terrible bills. They're more concerned about making a dollar. How can we save money when the rich get rich and the poor get poor? This is a sad sight to actually see, and it's also heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to actually hear where some are more concerned about their pockets than they're concerned about the life of their fellow man. And this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with immorality. And this is what I want to talk about today. I know it's not a very popular subject matter, but it's all right, because see, it's not about likes. It's not about, shares. What it's about is changing lives. Changing lives. What truly is the focus of your life today? What are you really consumed with? What does your mind meditate on the most? Because whatever it is, that is what's most important to you. See, I fully understand, and I'm not, ignorant to the fact that we have to eat. We need money to buy. Commerce. I understand that we're dealing with commerce. So I understand that we're in a world where we have to have, monies to be able to do the things that we need to do and that we want to do. I got it. However, when it becomes so important to where, your family is being torn apart because you're barely at home, spending time with your spouse, spending time with your child, or your children, then that poses a problem. That poses a problem. So what is your mind so consumed with? It's so much going on today on social media. It's so much going on today on the television. There's so much going on today within this world in general. But my question to you is, what have you chosen to take the time out for you to meditate upon and to focus on? Because whatsoever it is, whatsoever you're giving your attention to, is a direction that your life is going to gravitate in. So are you focusing on positive things? Are you focusing on negative things? What is it that you're giving your mind time to focus on? What is it that your mind is focused on the most? Have you taken out the time to pray and to meditate? Now I fully understand that some people, they don't know who to pray to, and I submit this to you on today, that I myself personally had to seek this out, and find what spiritual path I need to walk on. And I truly do believe in the divine, because I've seen miracles happen. Does things always go my way all the time? Absolutely not. Okay. I'm not exempt from the cares and affairs of this life. However, I'm not consumed with the cares and affairs of this life. I'm in this world, but I learn how to be not of this world. I don't get caught up in, the hype. We have allowed the so-called American idols, if you will, within the Hollywood world, on social media, on television, we have allowed, that tell a lie by way of what you see, which is the television. We have allowed, even the radio as well, to dictate to us what life is really all about. And, we must admit this, because even when it comes to fashion, you see how the entertainment world, how the music artists, how the actors, and just these public figures, people began to pretty much mimic what they see, because they're trying to be somebody, that they feel like is somebody, but you're still somebody. So it doesn't mean that you're not somebody, because your life is not fashioned in that image in which you see via, again, social media, television, or what you hear on the radio. So many people's lives are consumed with trying to be involved in the lifestyle of the rich and famous, but the thing is, I want to ask someone, when you close your eyes, what are you going to see? Because, see, I want to divert your attention on what's really important. Brother Stephen Butler, peace and blessings. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your encouragement. So what I want to do is now divert your attention on something that's really important. Where are you going to open up your eyes at once you leave? Once your soul leave your body, where are you going to go? This is what I want to pose the question to you about, because again, we talked about balance at the beginning of this program on today. So we're talking about balance. So we talked about the natural things, but let's talk about the spiritual things, because see, your soul is everlasting, and these things in this world you're going to leave behind when your soul separates from your body. So the question I want to pose to you, because I want you to really focus on what's important, what's more important, because see, this life again is temporary. This life is temporary. Because see, I want to share something with you. I know that there was a time, numerous times actually, that before I went to sleep, I was watching something, or something was on my mind, and when I went to sleep, my soul went exactly where my mind was geared towards. My mind was geared towards happy rising, Brother Tyrone. My mind was geared towards spiritual things. So I was listening to one of the spiritual teachers, listening to Sri Master Gano Grills. And so as I listened to him, my soul went into that realm where he was talking about my soul. When whatever I heard, that's where my soul went. In fact, I was listening to some music, and when I went to sleep, that's exactly what was in my dream. Okay, I was listening to television one time, and that's exactly where my soul was at. I heard whatever was on the TV. That's was actually what was in my dream. So what I'm telling you is where your mind is at is where you're going to go. If your mind is always on dark and dreary things, that when you leave this earth realm, then that's where your soul is going to gravitate towards. That's the reason why I do believe in that verse says that whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things. Why? Because that right there is proof to me that wherever your mind is focused on, is tuned in on, is certainly the direction that your life is going to go in. So if you're always focusing on negative things, if you're always focusing on, the things and the troubles of this world, then you're going to be consumed with fear. You're going to be consumed with worry. Because unfortunately, what you're doing is you're programming yourself to live in a hell. You've actually constructed hell in your own life unbeknownst to you. And this is the reason why some people, they live in such a dark and dreary place, because they're constantly watching, listening to, and reading degenerating information that tunes your mind to flow on a negative frequency. And you got to be careful in regards to what your soul, your spirit man is consuming, because truly you are what you eat. I know I say this quite a bit because it's very important. It's very key, because just like if you eat unhealthy food, then you'll be unhealthy. So whatever you consume spiritually, you will be exactly that. So if you consistently keep consuming negativity, then you're going to be in a negative state. And when you leave here, because see, some people, they don't want to believe this, but you know what? I hope one day, they come into the realization that the supernatural realm is real. All right. And this is for those who believe in the supernatural realm. I literally seen healings and miracles, and, I've experienced supernatural blessings. Okay. I have, communed, with the gods and the ancestors, and I have communed with, the archangel. So Michael, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely know that this is real. I've seen these things. I've heard these things. And this I do know, that you need to focus on your soul. If your mind is out of control, then your life will be out of control. And it's imperative that you get a hold of your soul, and that you ensure that you are depositing things that are healthy for your mind. Your psychological stability is paramount, because if you are mentally unstable, then your life will be mentally unstable. If your mind is in shambles, then your life will be in shambles. You cannot allow the shallow thinking of this carnal world, these lower dimensional mentalities of this earth realm. You cannot allow that to take root in your life. That's what it means when you hear be in this world, but not of this world. That's what it means about being in this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind. A lot of people may say, use a lot of biblical verses, because there is some relevance to that. It's some relevance to that, because so many people are so consumed with this carnal world to where they consume their lives with these lower vibrational frequencies, and they're so miserable and they're so unhappy, because they're so consumed with things that they see, and they consume their lives with just tangible things. And it's a reason why, because people they're not dealing with, the internal things. They have, I heard the football player, Prime Time, Deion Sanders. He talked about how he had $1 million bed. He had all this money, but he still was unhappy. So this is the reason why I'm telling you, you just can't focus on the external things and neglect your soul, because you're going to be miserable. You can have as many women as you want. You can buy as much jewelry as you want. You can have a big mansion. You can have numerous cars. You can have lavish clothing. You can have, numerous shoes lining your wall. But you know what? You still won't have any peace. Materialistic things will not give you peace of mind. You still got to deal with the molestation that you experience, the rape that you experience, the child abuse that you experience, the verbal abuse that you've experienced, the physical abuse that you've experienced. You still have to deal with the internal issues that you have, because you can surround yourself with outward things, but until you deal with your internal issues, until you deal with your broken heart, you'll never have a solid relationship. Until you deal with your problems, until you learn how to face you, you can never face them until you learn how to face you. I'm Brother Amar Amari. I'm the founder of Tribal Unity Organization, and this was your food for thought moment. I try to do these programs daily. Excuse my tardiness. Sometime I'm on time, depending on how I'm being dealt with. I'll come on a little bit after 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thank all of you for tuning in and listening, and hopefully this program was of some benefit for you rather on today. I also have a YouTube channel called Tribal Unity Organization. and you will find playlists on there. Hopefully it will be of some benefit to you. It's called Health and Wellness. I have some programs called Soul Elevation. I also have another playlist on there called School of Thought. And it's to help you with your spiritual life. You know, there's so many people today that are lost, and they don't know their way because they don't have proper spiritual guidance. So if you go into those playlists that I presented unto you, I guarantee you'll find some things that will challenge you and make you very curious, you know, and make you inquisitive, you know, about, you know, your life path. Why are you here? You know, Inquiring Minds, you got the magazine called The Inquiring Minds, say they want to know, why is it that so many inquiring minds want to know how to get wealth, but they don't want to speak, they don't want to seek rather spiritual riches. They don't want to seek knowledge and wisdom and understanding. They don't want to be rich in knowledge and wisdom and understanding, but so many people want tangible things. I want to leave you with that thought. Peace.